Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. And as usual with me on this show is my colleague.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus. How is everyone going? And Jennifer, how are you?
Yeah, we're just coming out of the Easter season. Well, for some people, they're still on it. They're still celebrating Easter because school's on holidays. Yeah.
Now start. We have 50 days of Easter to go.
Yes. So, so normally we look at the holiday time, which is Easter Monday. No, Good Friday, from Thursday.
Yeah.
So let me say for me, being Catholic, being Christian, I celebrate. This is a very important time of the year for me. So I started with the Thursday. I actually attended a service with the Archbishop on the Tuesday with the washing of the feet. For me, that was very, very significant. Yeah? It meant a lot. So I did that, and then we followed the Friday, Saturday. So for me, it was a lot about, connecting with my God, going the extra mile to attend the church service, and reflecting, especially Good Friday. Good Friday, I feel this is a time for me to really reflect, to see what my life is all about. Review. I did a lot of that. I will talk more about it as we go along. But for me, Easter was great. And then, of course, you have the extra celebration on the Sunday, which is more on the family, and you look to have a feast. I didn't have a feast, but and then the Monday, again, quiet. But I enjoyed it. Monday, not that quiet, because I had family again, being with family. And for me, that is so important.
You were entertaining, Jennifer.
Yeah, I did entertain. And that was nice. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So what about you? How you did? I know you had a splash.
I had a lovely Easter. I had a really, really lovely Easter. I did. This is the third year that I'm doing it's about the fourth year. I'm doing the entire Triduum. I'm
right from the Tuesday.
Disciplined to the Triduum, doing Mass of the Lord's, Last Supper, the washing of the feet.
Right.
I didn't do the Stations of the Cross Good Friday morning, the 5:30 Good.
Right. Yeah.
But during Lent, I had done about 4 sessions of the stations on a Friday afternoon with the parish. But the service for the veneration of the cross on Good Friday afternoon was really, really beautiful. And I attended that in my parish, and it was really good. And we did also the Easter Vigil Mass on Saturday night. That was a marathon, Jennifer.
Yes.
It was a marathon. There were 4 candidates, so I had 9 candidates for baptism, confirmation, first communion. The mass started at 7, And I left the church after 11, but I didn't feel it. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Would you say, Terrian, at the end of this period that you felt renewed?
I won't use the word renewed is a word that I can use, but I would say reinforced. Because it's been an entire journey through Lent, which is on top of another another journey that I am taking myself through. And it makes all of our liturgical seasons even more special for me. And participating in the Triduum this year especially was reinforcing. I feel renewed is a correct word, but reinforced is saying that there is I know why I'm here and I know who has brought me here. And, you know, the joy that comes from that can't be, you can't steal my joy and my peace very easily because I know who lives in me. That spirit lives in me. And I am not a person that you can take my joy and peace at all. I could say at all. So that was really, really wonderful. So Easter Sunday was our family has 2 big days for celebration, Christmas and Easter. And they both at my house. Those are the 2 days I do massive cooking. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Norma came. My brother-in-law was here from Canada. The family was here. And it was really, really, really nice. It was a
great.
And I stayed in my bed until 3 o'clock on Easter Monday. I think I deserve it.
It's really a time to celebrate. And as I said, for me, and I asked about being renewed because I'm on a journey.
Yeah.
And my journey has said both to strengthen spiritually, but also after that situation with me, that helped to the panic situation I had there. I really started to think differently in terms of my life and what I'm offering out there. And I'm on a path really more on gratitude and giving back, I would say. Gratitude and giving back. So I am doing a lot of self-examination to see in what way I would feel, well, let's say, fulfilled or renewed in terms of giving back and how I should do it. And at the same time, keeping a very happy spirit.
Yeah.
High energy, happy spirit. So I took this time, I embraced this time to delve a little more into my feelings and what's happening around me and looking at the aspects of my life that may not be in line with where I want to go.
You can't write it down or what?
No. It's renewal and it's renewed for, and when I say a phase in life, as I said, a happy one. A happy one. I am not actually, before when you say people, you're frightened to death. No, I passed that stage actually, I'm so proud of myself. I'm not panicking. Yes. Probably that's why I thought of being renewed.
Went into the waters of baptism and you come back out.
Yeah.
And
I'm different. I'm good.
New life in the spirit. That's what it's called. New life in the spirit.
I'm not panicking again. I'm so sure everything. I'm on the right track. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question because people say this all the time. And we all go through these. I think once we reach milestones, for some people it's 50, but for a lot of us it's 60. I
reached 70. So I think
you have 70.
I carried my forward, 70.
And you carry, and you know, people often say, and I'm probably being controversial and probably poking the bear here. It comes down with an urge to that phrase that you used to give back. Why, what is it that is driving this need to give back?
I would say, you know, and I mentioned before the gratitude. I look back and I am happy about my life now. And when I look back, I am so grateful and thankful and appreciative of reaching where I am now. And I don't feel that I'm under complain about. You know, I look at the things that we may have looked at as challenges. I am happy that I went through whatever because it bring me to where I am now. And to be able and to really strengthen me. And when something happens, I could say, you know, and I look at all the, as I will say now, all the wins, right? And my goal is I believe, to maintain that peace that I want to maintain, that the things that I should do, so I no longer see myself having to this set of money to do things. So it's not material things.
You get over the money jumbie?
I get over the money jumbie. I worked on that. Let me tell you, I worked on that. So where I'm at now is more about a cleansing of the spirit. I don't know if you understand. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But removing, and you know, I talk about energy, removing any sort of the negatives surrounding not being allowing myself to be going down any negative route. And I believe for me to continue on the path I want to be on, which is a peaceful one, which is a happy one, a healthy one, that I need to do the things that will feed into that sort of spirit, if I may say so. And for me, those things is to being kind and helping others achieve, and when I say their goals, but achieve that well-being. I don't even want to say wholeness, but that well-being, balance, however it looks for them. So, for instance, if I'm chatting with someone and within the conversation, they may mention a need, let me put it that way, and I feel I could fulfill that need in some way, whether it's praying with them, whether it's sitting down and chatting, whether it's a compliment, whatever that calls for at that time, I feel I want to impart that what do you call it? Reach out. Let me say it so. Reach out, and that is where I'm at. So yeah, if that answers your question, there.
It's good to go because sometimes, you know, it's easy as we come to this stage in life, or we come out of seasons like Easter, Easter, Christmas, the seasons that cause us to look at and reflect on ourselves and people often use that phrase, I have to give back. I have to give back. And when I hear it, I say sometimes, you know, if you're giving back, you're giving out of surplus. Sometimes you have a sense that I have abundance, I have surplus, and I probably recognize that it needs to be shared. And in some instances, giving back is accomplished by writing a check or some one-off thing that, and this is my opinion, my personal opinion, this has nothing to do with the spiritual development or the spiritual movement that you just went through. You know, it's like people are giving up meat for Lent, are giving up this
Yeah.
for Lent.
Yeah.
You go into it and you say, okay, so having sacrificed X for Lent, what was done with the resources that have been sacrificed? Is it just that your grocery bill went down, so you have more money in your bank account? Or is it that you took that meal, that meat meal, and you gave it to charity so that your sacrifice meant something to somebody else? You know, so it is interesting to hear you say the term give back. And as I hear your explanation, I hear more spread my gratitude than give back, as
Yeah.
people will understand give back. So I'm glad I asked the question.
Yeah.
Because I think the term give back means that I got something and I am compelled now to share or redistribute because there is surplus. Because if there was not surplus, there would be given back. Now, just to be clear, I am not saying I'm not at all against giving back.
No, I hear you. And it's how you, as you said, how you interpret it. So for me, looking at, I would, and if you want to look at surplus or abundance, to me, I have as you say, the talents and the skills. And if you want to be more biblical, let's say the talents.
Talent and time. You have talent and time. Probably not a treasure,
and
but
I have a surplus.
Right. Talent and time.
At this stage in my life, and I'm saying, okay, how can I use the talents, as you say, if you want to look at it, talents and time. And this is the way I see I can use it, because that's it. So I have enough and the time to do something with it, and to do it in a way that helping others on that. So you realize too, it is not it's not a surplus of cash or something that I could do.
You did right check.
I ain't right, it is not, I ain't going there. I don't have that surplus. But I'm using what I have, and as you say, if somebody it's how you feel that you can help and do it in terms of how you're setting off your part or your life as you go along. Yeah.
But I think it is important to look at that, because Jennifer, it is so easy in the world today to bring everything down to dollars and cents.
Yeah, I know.
It is very, very easy for us. Whatever you say to do, we automatically start that calculator in our head. Dollars and cents, costs, this and that. And I think most of the times that we do it, it is very unnecessary, extremely unnecessary. And I think when we do it a lot of times, we miss the point of what we're trying to achieve. And I think that's the if I can say that something has come out of this Easter, because I ask myself sometimes, all right, Terry-Ann, what are you giving back? What are you giving back? And I suppose I have treasure. I have treasure. So let's use the word treasure to mean, yes, I have resources and money, but I don't write checks. So is it that I'm not giving back? Because I don't necessarily run around and like, here is Jill.
Yeah.
And that mean that I'm a selfish person or whatever it is. But then when I look at my balance sheet, I realize that my talents are far more valuable than any treasure that I have. It's far, far, far more valuable. And the time that I have is, I think it's expensive because time is money. So I look at how I share, like you know, what are my talents? What am I good at? And how do I use it, not only to those that I love, but to those that I don't know, strangers.
Yeah.
Worst of all, those that I don't like. You know? And I think it will do us well to look at what we do with our treasure, and that is where it is. And I think it's the easiest thing to distribute, because we could check how much of our surplus and write a check and get that over and done with. I get that money. All right, or make a basket and I went and I feed the poor this evening, and the rest of the month I back to my you know. But if we really audit our talents and what we do very well, whether we can organize, whether we could comfort people, whether we could guide people, as you say, whether it's in coaching, whether we can give people a little bit of advice in any realm of life. You know, at our age, our talent is so sharp. It doesn't take a lot of our time to deliver a walloping value of talent to somebody who needs it. And it makes a big difference in the world. And I think that's a beautiful way to give back. So when we give back, it's not with a dollar sign, but with how we impact in the world. And you know, I'm glad that I asked that question.
Because we really tend to put the dollar sign to everything. When we talk about generosity and things, we're talking about money. If you say somebody is generous, you automatically think that, oh, they're always giving money. You could ask them for this and they get it, and they say, oh, you're very generous. But you hardly use that term if somebody helps you in other way. You know, we tend to put a different value on that. So.
And it was so funny, and I just remembered something. I think it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, with our parish, I did one of the pilgrimages to one of the sacred places. So I did not go to Mass as usual on the Sunday because it was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And over this weekend, I saw a little lady who I always chat with and going or whatever it is. And she said, you know, I miss you. I didn't see it. I miss your greeting. I miss your smile, you know.
See?
And you know, you realize then that it's just something you do every week. You go and check her and how you're going, and you compliment her dress and whatever it is. And for that person, a greeting, a smile, half a minute, it don't be longer than half a minute. I don't know the lady name.
Yeah.
I don't know the lady name. But she came to me and said, I missed you, you know, and hoping that I was okay. And something as small as that. And I list my personality as one of my talents, to smile at someone, to make their day a little brighter. It takes no time and it takes nothing away from my treasure. But if I ask her, what is the value of that to her?
It meant a lot, of course.
You know, and sometimes I think we need to reflect on how we impact others. And I think if we're talking about Easter, and that's the Easter message, whether it is resurrection is not always coming from the dead back to life, but it is really how do we impact other people personally by just who we are, our nature. And we can see so many opportunities to, as you say, give back without
And then the theme was hope. I felt very you know, strongly in that, giving people hope, you know, that all is not lost, dependent. And it could be, to us might be something, we may look at it simple, but to the other person may not be. And we shouldn't take that for granted, as you said, that little smile, that greeting. Somebody else may not do that and say, why bother to smile? They're making a difference. No, we can't take it for granted. It helps that other person. You know, the simplest gesture that we may just take for granted, as long as out of the kindness of your heart, I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. So we hope that you all also had a fantastic Easter. And Easter meaning Lent coming in, and now we start our Easter octave. It ends at Pentecost. That's when it ends.
Yes.
As my parish priest said, we now start.
You know, I know we look at from Good Friday to Easter Monday, but yeah,
yes,
you know, we have a long haul.
And we have to note for us the passing of our beloved Francis. He was my favorite.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
That is the one pope that I can deal with.
Very practical, very deep messages, always powerful. And the messages across it, whether you're Catholic or not, when the Pope gives a message and you read the comments, the comments coming from all quarters, not just the Catholic community, but right through. And even at that, of course, the sentiments being shared and thing, is from right across, you know, everyone that he had a great impact on.
Yeah. I will just say that my prayer is that the cardinals, as they go towards selecting another pope, don't go back to those stiff conservative European people, and they keep an open mind and continue looking out at the world. Try somebody from Africa, back again to Latin America. But oh God, stay away from them stiff people from Europe.
Well, he showed.
Listen, a lot of priests did not like him. They did not
but
like
he showed up. He made some changes that were controversial, but in the end, definitely was the right, you know, what he did made a difference and made an impact, you know, on the world. I wouldn't even say on the world.
With leaders cannot change good changes that former leaders made. So
he was very outspoken, very outspoken.
Yeah, but that is an era. That is an era. So we had a great Easter, and as I said, we hope that you all did. And we are now heading out to the post-Easter, the other side. So Jennifer, let's get ready to go into tribe, being a tribe.
Yes.
And let's cap off our expectations journey. So Jennifer, we have been talking about managing expectations. And expectations is a heavy load for us, you know.
Yes.
And we've both been talking to professionals about how to help our cohort manage expectations. Jennifer, what kind of feedback did you get?
I'm telling you, and as I mentioned earlier on, about this journey I'm on, right? My journey is 70 to, well, let me see, 70 to 75. I didn't go to 80. So this journey. So I'm checking myself and I'm being more aware. And from feedback I got, because I started to listen more of what people think of me, right? Which have been getting very, without asking, coming out from my birthday. I know, thanks to you, Terry and Sarah, where you got my guests, my friends, to share, wishing happy birthday, but in sharing, they all decided to say exactly how I meant what I meant to them. Compliments were great and everything, and I listened, and I really do appreciate what they said. But underlying that, I know for me, I like to fix things. So on one side, the compliment would be, I'm very organized, I may be creative, I could do things and all that, but it hit me, but I like to fix things. I like to have things in order my way. And in doing that, my expectations from my friends or family is that if I believe this is the way, I expect them to move that way. All right.
Your own way.
Yes. I didn't. No one, Tarian has just said it. No one told me I would. They told me I'm well organized. They're happy to be with me. They all the nice things. But somewhere along I said, hey, check yourself with the expectations. And the expectations, when I look at that terrain, it always ties in to values, you know. I wouldn't do X. So if somebody else do it, I might say, hey, they can't be right doing it. All right? So I look at different aspects. It wasn't all bad, but it's good reflection. And what I've learned, and in doing that, of course, I had some long chats. You know, we chat a lot about these things. I chat with friends to find out, to share my views, what I think, and to ask them. And the bottom line is, one, Tarian, when we reach a certain stage in life, we all change up. Some mistake, but I would say change, even if we are thinking that we are forced to change. Let me put it that way. We are forced to change. And a simple thing that I keep harping on, and it hasn't read me yet, is like doing without a car, without my own transport. I never thought of it, and it came time I had to do it. And when doing that, I had to change. I had to appreciate using public transport when time come. Yes, could have the private driver come, but public transport. And that had me, it humbled me, and if I may say that. And I was speaking with a friend, and she, how you made out, how you came? And I said, girl, I took a maxi. And it was like, oh God, how you could do that? You know, they're holding up these drivers and they can't do it. Now, I took it in good faith, but I look at it too, is the expectations from me. That was one. And two, the other thing is, why you don't buy a car? And I'm saying, I can't afford it. That's not my priority no longer. I see how the cost of health, I see the cost of this, and I see how your pension and your savings could just evaporate with one illness. Just one surgery could wipe you out. But again, their expectation of me is they expect me, nothing wrong, because they see me in a certain light, enjoying a certain quality of life. So let me flip that. Because of that, I check myself now when I say, just as how I am saying, you know, I could get a little annoyed and say, but why should they expect that of me? What is wrong with that? But they check my life and how I was going and quality of life, etc. And I say, check yourself, because you are doing the same thing to them. And to see in what area, it may not be in a similar thing with transport, but in other things. It may be how they could live so, how they could still so, how they could have their children doing that, how and how and how. And not just how, but looking at ways that I could. They didn't ask for me to fix it, but you're looking at ways, even what you say to them. And when you say it, you swear you're giving advice, and you swear your advice is what would fix them and make them better. And with the discussion and discussion with especially the long talks with my sister, who is a behavioral psychologist and all that, I had to face some harsh realities that, hey, at this stage, you're not fixing anybody. At this stage, what you should do is see how you can help towards making their life more comfortable, the way they want their lives to be comfortable. And if you're not happy doing that, and you can add to it in a positive sense, then step away and leave it alone. Learn to leave it alone. And that, to me, in short, is the managing expectations to me. Leave it alone. It is not your issue. If you're really on this journey to be kind and to help others, the way you're going about it, at this stage, that's not the way. I have no little Toronto guide or anything. We at this stage, because we choose, this is our life, it has brought us, we are where we are because of a lot of things that has happened prior. We may not be happy with it, but we're trying. So that is the short of me saying, leave people alone. If you cannot help in a positive way and bring them to where they would like to be and accept that that is where they want to be, not where you want them to be, where they want to be. If you can't deal with it, leave it alone and move on. Yeah. So that's my rant.
That's not a rant, that's good advice. It's so funny because listeners and viewers, Jennifer and I, when we are preparing topics, we would draw on different resources independently. And of course, we have our own opinions and we draw on our resources and then we come together with all of this to discuss. And it was so funny because I have a friend that I also respect a lot and who works in the field of family therapy, family relationships, and also with organizations in terms of trying to have people be aligned to the values of the organizations and the systems and stuff like that. And we were talking about this issue of, and I took it from looking at the world. The world as it is down the road is changing. It's very different. And we looking in the review and looking at what we were and all that. And we have to realize that the future is going to be nothing like the past. And what has happened in the past is not going to prepare us for the future. So we have to have this change, this disruption, this break, this whatever it is. And I'm sitting there and saying, so how are we to achieve that? And the person sat and looked at me and we leaned forward. And he said very seriously, carry on, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Just like you. And I said, but that's not practical. You know, our cohort is going to suffer. We're going to be out of place and so on. And in the discussion, so I realized is that, you know, we have spent a lot of time getting us to where we are.
Yeah.
We went through our own youth, adolescence. We mind children, raise children, had careers, deal with co-workers, deal with bosses, were subordinates. We deal with companions, wives, husbands, friends. We gain friends, we lost friends. We manage households. We manage relatives. We manage all kinds of things. And in all of that experience has created a person that exists today. And a person that is a bundle of joys, sorrows, pain, pride, all kinds of things. And we all have an exterior that we put for the world. That exterior helps us to carry ourselves in the world. And my friend told me that if I think that as you all want to come and fix people now, but future that, excuse me, if I have ridden what I had in the past, let me tell you, what comes in the future, it have to take me on my terms. It's for young people to change up for that, not for me. And, you know, that advice, leave it alone, resonated with me. And you know, as you said, you reflect on yourself and you, for many things, I said, and you know, I had a challenge with the younger son this week, and I had 2 intense conversations, and both of them ended with, this is my opinion on how I choose to proceed here. So respectfully observe and respect with my position, and you don't have any leverage to change it. So adapt. You know, and like you. I am saying to our son,
I guess that, yeah.
highway or the highway. And I'm wanting to say to other people that we must adapt and we must do different things. So, this, what is the expectation? What is the expectation of how we move forward? And my conclusion is that we are all in this cohort whole people. And we are at the stage of life where we must enjoy ourselves. We must be able to relax and bask in the talents and the treasures we have and live life on our terms. And if we want to be generous with those terms, or we want to be selfish with those terms, or we want to share with the world with those, it is our terms. But I think what is needed is to allow us to be protected from the judgment of the world that wants to keep saying you should be like this, and just as you said, you should be like this and you should be like that. And I think both you and I, Jennifer, came to the same conclusion about managing expectations, is that those expectations are whatever we have them as. But we must not allow ourselves to get upset or worked up or worried or distressed or put out because it's not coming out as we want.
Yeah. Ariane, this is also for us, part of continuous learning and learning about behaviors. Because yes, we have gone through everything and we could look like we aware, we should be more aware. But even and you talk about judgment, really and truly we have to look at how we judge. But that doesn't mean that we can't learn from the situations by sharing. But when we share our experiences or knowledge, because, sometimes I am always reading up and learning new things, and I listen to the news, both foreign and local, etc. And every day you could learn or pick up something from it. But we should really be careful about the judging, because we may hear something and say, oh, they could say that we know better than, but look at it with a more open mind. That doesn't mean we change in who we are or even doing what we do differently, but we could appreciate the thinking of others.
Yeah.
And I could see that, if I have to say, could be one of the flaws in our cohort, because we feel we know, we tend not to listen with an open mind, and not just with the open mind, but knowing that that person, that is their, how they feel, their opinion, and it make them feel, whether it make them feel good or not, but it is not our business.
Yeah.
in that light. Yeah.
And I think worse too is that we judge and we look at what's going on with people, taking our context with it, and not, as you said, open ourselves to understand their context. We've talked about this before. The way that our children will be earning an income and living their lives is not how we did it. It's different. They're not going to spend 20, 30 years. Few of them will spend 20, 30 years with the same employer and get pension from that person. They're probably going to have multiple employers, and they're probably going to do a lot of side hustles and stuff. And something called a pension, they might say, what is that? And they may not understand that you only do NIS if you continue to pay. And instead of ranting and raving, we need to step in with them and guide, give our wisdom, and ask the question, how do you see this being possible? that listening, that listening and learning, because we realize that the life that they're living is not the life that we have lived. So we kind of out of place to assume that our historically biased advice is going to be related to their future life.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us would be quite affronted and like, how you could tell me that? You're telling me that my experience is wasted, my experience is not relevant. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is the continuous learning where bring your experience in a context with somebody whose experience is different, and you listen to each other and exchange, and in understanding each other, you may both emerge into a different space that is a blend of the two. And I don't think that is something that we do very well at all.
So true. And Terry-Ann, we are Connections 50 Plus. Our role, our goal, our vision is for us at this stage, to that stage, to be happy, healthy, prosperous, and we have all our different, we talk about the financial, we talk about the social, we talk about wellness, we have people coming on, all with that one goal, to make us different. And we just spoke about leave it alone, not to judge, not to try to make people different and all that. And I'm bringing this up because I know we chatted a lot and we talked about, okay, we still continue, of course, because we just agreed that continuous learning is important. So we definitely will have the forums, continue definitely having guests with different skill sets, etc., come on and do our activities to community, etc. But with all that, I think and there's no one that I would say more important than the next, but I want to say at this time, I see what would be being effective is the communication part. Being able to communicate in a way that we appreciate, understand, respect, and make a difference in each other's life.
Mm-hmm.
And, last week we spoke about, we celebrated our 6th anniversary and we chatted a lot. We had guests come on, we had chatting with us.
1.5 hours.
Yeah. So in moving forward, I know we mentioned how we could move forward with adding a little difference. And I just want to just mention, without giving details, that we thought building a niche, a little community within a community would be the way we could move forward to and getting some more feedback. But we thought we're doing great with the information sharing. We're really doing great with getting people on and board and all the activities and everything. But I felt there was some void still of persons sitting on the sideline wishing that we reach out to them, to hold them, not really hold their hands, but give a little pat on the back and say, yes, yes, yes. You could be part of this. So I just wanted to mention that for the viewers who may wonder if we left them short after last week marathon.
I think this is a nice opportunity to probably, because the intent of that next step is we're a digital platform, so, and it's not interactive. So you talk and people feel that they are part of the conversation, listening, but they can't participate in the conversation because it is not live. And there are many of you out there who are ready to do. You want to live more fully, but you don't have the community to do that. You don't have, you will see in the comments someone share, we note something, and that's something I'm interested in. I would love to go to that or to do that or to share that. I want to do line dancing. I don't want to do axe throwing. I want to do this and that. Or look, I saw this interesting tea party, and I live in San Fernando, and oh gosh, Terry and Jennifer quite up in the north. They don't know. So how can we create a space or a friend group? I prefer a friend group where we all collectively have the power, the initiative, the energy for anything that we want to do, and where we can throw out an idea. I saw this in the paper and I'm interested in doing it. Anyone who's interested, let's get together and rent a ride share and let's go to it and that kind of thing, because that's how our cohort operates. So Jennifer and I we fleshed out the skeleton of it. And we are going to have a parallel forum of those people. And I think we've got an interesting name that we can share, Jennifer.
Sure. We say out of the connections, because now we are connections 50 plus, and we say we are connectors.
Friends with benefits.
So that's what we would call it. And we put it out there. We will tell you more about it, of course.
Definitely.
But I just thought we should mention it because I know from last week, as I say, marathon persons might want it. I wonder what they come up with.
Yeah.
But and that's why we thought we will mention it. So by next week, we will be able to give you more details on that.
Next week or the week after?
We could outline it. We give us more time, not just to flesh it out, but we'll get some feedback, as we go along. We could chat with persons and ask, get their opinion on it.
Because it's a very democratic thing. As I said, we will have an administrative framework, but within it, these connectors who will be friends with benefits, and don't take your mind there, friends with benefits for our age. You will be very active in determining how that happens and where, how many, what we do. And we think you will find it very, very interesting. So you have that to look forward to. So that's how we are going to crown managing expectations, because we've got to act. We have to act. We have to become proactive and participating members in our lives. Our cohort is not going to sit at the sideline and look at what's happening. We can create the environment, the entertainment, the tribe, the activities that we want to. And we're going to help us do that, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's the end of managing expectations, and there's more for you to expect coming forward. But with that expectation, you will have responsibility. So
so that's one. That was promise. And Terry Ann, of course, we are celebrating. Still, remember, we're celebrating our birthday. And we also mentioned that we have this great activity coming up. So let's tell you, we'll share with you now. We're ready. We have the date, we have the venue, we have all the logistics, we're ready. So Terry Ann, need to tell them all about this exciting event.
So you would have heard us talk about the arboretum, let me say, we said we are going to Chagaramas. And I remember we said, somebody said that, I've been to Chagaramas already. And we said we're going to do Chagaramas differently.
Differently, yes.
And
yes.
You may or may not, we want you to go online and look at the arboretum. This is a really beautiful space tucked away deep inside the Tucker Valley. And it is actually 2 pools fed by a natural spring. But it's not only that, it is an area. And there are many, many activities that can be had in and around that area. And attached to the arboretum is an activity-based thing called the Warriors Haven. And that Warriors Haven, it's we borrowing from the young people here. We go in the young people business.
Yeah.
You know? They are focused on, if you're into warrior activity. So there are fields where you can do axe throwing and archery, and you can have yoga, you can have massages, nature walks, all kinds of things. Really, really exciting things. And these are things that we read about in storybooks, but we never did. We never did. So those of you who feel you know Chagaramas and you can drive down and drive back, no, we are building a different. And Jennifer, what is your favorite part for me? Activity. Jennifer likes the activities, but
I like. For me, Terry, and as you just let them know, of course, because with all the excitement. It's on the 29th of May, so get ready. It's on the 29th of May. And before Terry started to tell you all how she's excited already. And you know what all that is about.
Eating.
Food and more food. But yeah, it will be on the 29th of May. We are meeting for breakfast at 9 a.m. and I will let Terry share all about the breakfast. And we are down there for the day. And let me tell you, Terry just shared some of the activities. Lots of activities. We'll roll out more as weeks go on, but let Terry do what she does best. Tell you all about the food.
Food. All right. So you can't have a day, I believe, where they just come out of Easter. When did we start Easter? Lord's Supper. If you want to know that people don't like you when you meet and they don't offer you anything to eat or drink, they don't like you. All right. That's my rule. So we have connected with the Carenage fish fry and met the most delightful, really, really lovely lady, Stacey Perez, and her business partner who run Candy Crush. And they are going to be catering a beautiful Caribbean breakfast for us. So we are starting off at Candy Crush at the Carenage fish fry with a nice different options, and we're going to finalize the options for you. Now, all of this is included. We haven't given you the tours yet. You'll get that next week. Okay, but that's included. And they are coming back to cater our lunch for us at the Arboretum, and it is going to be a delicious Creole lunch with options for vegetarians. You're going to have at least about 3 or 4 options to choose from. Some of you all might want to choose 2, but can't do that. And we are saying, because this is going to be a day of fun, we're going to develop a package where you could opt to do yoga, nature walks, axe throwing, knife throwing, archery. We're going to do hikes to and of course there is the natural pools at the Arboretum.
Yeah, very, very safe. Yeah.
We are going to have a really good time. And because it's also so very accessible, I mean, we meet at the Carenage fish fry. So this time we just meet there. We're going to arrange if people want to, because we know some of you prefer to have the maxis. We have found that maxis are extremely expensive, and to keep it affordable, we are saying if you wish to have a maxi, we can put you together with someone at an incremental cost. But we focus on making sure that you're well fed, you're well entertained, and you have a relaxing relaxing and entertaining time on the 20th of May in Shagaramas. I am excited. I am really excited.
So yes, as usual, Connections 50 Plus, all inclusive fun activity on the 29th of May, meeting at 9 a.m. at the Carenage Fish Fries for breakfast. Yeah. And we proceed from there down to the Shagaramas.
Arboretum. Right? And you bring coolers. Feel free to walk with your coolers, because we know different beverages and so on. You're going to be there for the day. So have a good time. You're going to make sure you eat and drink. You're going to have your breakfast with a hot drink, and you're going to have your lunch. We'll have our coolers. And at the Arboretum, they have huts and very, very beautiful facilities. And we are going to have a great, great time. So we are looking forward to that. So again, Jennifer, mark your calendars.
Yes. And give us a call. Start booking, tell your friends. And of course, we want to ensure that when you come, you have a great, great time. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, Jennifer, our tribe is ready. That was being in tribe. That was there. And we are looking forward to this celebration of our 6th anniversary.
Yeah.
So we will see you. So let me ask you a personal question, Jennifer, and I'm putting you on this spot here. And again, it is about managing expectations. And we know we shared your journey. We shared your journey, your cancer journey. We shared this surgery. We shared all those kinds of things. Would you want to give people an update as to where you are and what's going on?
Yes, I'm good. I must say I have been attending the clinic at St. James Cancer Center. I have done all the various tests, etc., etc. I am right now on medication to prevent the cancer from coming back, because as you all know, I had surgery and, all the different procedures that go with it. And as of what I have to do again, I now have to do radiation sessions. All right. And again, radiation sessions is to prevent the cancer from coming back. And I'm all set for that. So far it's scheduled for June. So we can have a lot of fun in May. That's why we scheduled for May and come June. And I must say, you said you put me on the spot, but I want to take this opportunity, Terry-Ann, to really thank all the providers, the health, the doctors, the nurses, the receptionists, all the workers in the lab technicians, every single health provider within the facilities I've attended. And I have attended all the public facilities down to Sandy Grande when I had an emergency to be in Sandy Grande Hospital when I panicked. Don't ask for Arima, where I started off, and now St. James Medical, and then we're going on to the next one, Brian Lara. But let me tell you all, I was selling the other person. I'm not getting into politics, but I was selling things. I could be a great spokesperson for using the public system and the public healthcare system. And I told someone that, and they said, but Jennifer, you still have to scrub bench, etc. And my thing is, listen.
You do that all over the world. You do that all over
if I go and I attend, by the way, I also attend private, I started with my private doctor, and she's well established. I still have to sit down 2 hours to wait. And I must say, even with the wait, I understood, because my last visit, and let me share this story. My last visit, I waited. Now, I didn't look at the card. I really was supposed to go for 10. And I went very early and I sat down and I hear people complaining. And then a nurse came to explain. They told you come for 10 years, you could come early. But if you come for 7, I think it's because the persons who have the 8 o'clock appointment between 8 to 10, they come for something else. So you have to understand that. So if you reach early, just cool it. And I must say, the wait, you prepare to wait. Geez. It's comfortable. It's not uncomfortable. You could use your Wi-Fi. In some sections, they have free Wi-Fi. Others, you sit and you just relax yourself. And when I went in my last visit, I'm sure I was there more than, could it be at least for half an hour? And the reason why, let me tell you, I had certain situations, and that doctor left that office to go across to the next office to speak to a consultant who is more familiar with my situation. Did all that and come back and apologize and say, it's because I had to do X, Y, and Z. And in my mind, I say, that's why sometimes you have to wait long, because each patient is different. And they may have to do some other consultation or call up and do some things. So I just, thanks for asking me, and I am open to sharing, because I want to publicly say thank you. Of course, it's not finished, it's ongoing, it's a process, but it has, because of how the treatment has been for me, I am really very comfortable in speaking about it, because I know I'm in a good place. Yeah. And we're not talking money, I'm not talking savings at all. Because, money always comes up, right? I'm not talking, listen to me. So those who don't want to use the public system, that's okay, I understand. But I definitely would say, listen, don't have any fear in using our public system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the lesson is that, again, when it comes to managing expectations, if you don't need to and you can afford to go to the private, go ahead and go. But if you can't do that, the system works and you don't need to fear, you don't need to worry. And there is no, unless you are in the extreme elite, where a specialist consultant has left time open for you to waltz in when you're ready and drop what they are doing and seeing you. There are very, very, very few and very restricted facilities for health anywhere in the world where you can sit and wait. I remember I was meeting with my a lady whose husband is a very prominent physician, and she was given the story of them being abroad and him having an emergency and had to go into the hospital. And this is a prominent physician, and sat down in the A&E for 8 hours, being triaged and being put on that level of priority, and said, we don't have to see you immediately. You're not life and death. So you have to wait until we see you. So sometimes we use that wait as a reason to discredit an entire system that is working effectively and has been working effectively for years. And it may be that we have an expectation of a certain amount of privilege that should come to us that we need to check.
And Terrell, let me just say one thing for persons who have asked me. Yes, I do have a medical plan, and yes, many of the tests I did privately to help ease up the system, because not all the time machines will be working or you can get your report in a timely manner. So yes, you can combine both, do some privately if you wish, and you can afford to. So I just wanted to add that also. Yeah.
Jennifer, I think we can also add the fact that where radiation is concerned, the health sector prioritizes those who have no support, who have no insurance.
Oh, yes. And that's where those with medical
So,
plans, you
so
can use your medical plan for
have
that.
your medical plan. They
yes.
you going into the private sector.
And that's how I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, Terria. Yeah.
So
you have to understand that also.
Let's before we begin to declare our expectations on how things should work and how, let us make sure we understand.
You understand. That's critical.
Let's make sure
critical to understand the system, and I'm glad too, because I don't want people going away saying, "Oh, Jennifer, I have money, shouldn't you use the system?" No, you have to understand how it works and see, but utilize it accordingly, and you can't be selfish. Just remember that also. Yeah.
So we're excited. Everything is working out well. We had a fantastic Easter. Christ is risen, and we good. We good. That won't be easy. We'll manage the challenges that face us. And we are going to have a fantastic party at the end of May and send Jennifer off into radiation happy and
happy. Smiling. And know all is good. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
We're going to do some axe throwing and archery and get some yoga and soak in the spring and all that. And we're going to do some games and eat some fantastic food.
And all now I'm strengthening my muscles and exercising and doing what I have to do. Yeah.
So we will see you next week when we will have more details of our package and the final price for it. And yes, it's going to be well worth everything. So be good and take care. Till next week.
Okay, bye.
50+ Tribe and followers from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50+ 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.